Was killing born with civilization? The uncomfortable answer is that humans were killing each other long before kingdoms, armies, flags, or written laws. But the first murder and the first war are not the same thing. A single broken skull can tell one story. A cemetery full of injured bodies tells another. A village massacre tells something else entirely. To answer when humans started killing, we have to separate impulse, revenge, raiding, ritual, and war. The deepest clue comes from Spain, from Sima de los Huesos, the Pit of Bones. It is an extraordinary Middle Pleistocene site, filled with ancient human remains from roughly 430,000 years ago. One skull from that pit, known as Cranium 17, carries 2 clear fractures on the forehead. Researchers argued in PLOS 1 that both blows were made by the same object, from different angles, and that the wounds were probably lethal. That does not prove a war. It does not prove a tribe attacked another tribe. But it does show something colder. A person or close human relative may have struck another hard enough to kill, hundreds of thousands of years before farming. So if the question is when one human first killed another, the honest answer may be, we do not know the first time, but the archaeological record points terrifyingly deep. But the moment we ask about war, the evidence changes. War is not just one person dying. War means groups, repeated violence, weapons, territory, memory, and sometimes bodies left as a message. One famous site sits near the Nile, Jebel Sahaba. It is a late Pleistocene cemetery, often discussed because many people buried there show weapon injuries, including stone projectile wounds. For a long time, people treated it as one of the earliest signs of war. But a newer scientific report study made the picture more complicated. Many individuals show healed and unhealed trauma, suggesting repeated episodes of violence, not necessarily one single battle. That distinction matters. The early record may not show one clean origin of war. It may show a world where stress, territory, food, climate, and fear kept pushing small groups into danger again and again. Then there is Nataruk, near Lake Turkana in Kenya. Here, researchers describe the remains of hunter-gatherers with injuries that look like a violent attack, skull trauma, projectile wounds, and bodies that do not look carefully buried. The Nature paper called it intergroup violence among early Holocene hunter-gatherers. In simple words, people without cities, without kings, and without farms could still attack other people as groups. That is the part many people do not want to hear. Civilization did not invent violence from nothing. It changed the scale, the tools, the organization, and the excuses. Once farming appears, the evidence becomes harder to ignore. Villages stored food, land mattered more, herds, fields, and houses could be taken, and bodies begin to show the cost. At Talheim in Germany, archaeologists found a death pit from the early Neolithic. Men, women, and children killed violently, many with head injuries. It is one of the classic examples of prehistoric massacre in Europe. At Schoneck-Kilianstetten, another early Neolithic mass grave showed bodies with severe trauma, including injuries that suggest torture or mutilation around the legs. The Penas paper argued this was collective violence, not a random accident. By this point, violence is no longer just a broken skull in a cave. It is families, settlements, attackers, victims, and social worlds where killing could erase a household. So why did humans start killing each other? The answer is not one dark switch in the brain. It is a stack of pressures: fear, status, revenge, mates, territory, food, punishment, and the terrifying ability to imagine another person as the threat. Our closest living relatives already show that violence can exist without cities. Chimpanzees sometimes kill across group boundaries. Humans did not need bronze swords to discover danger between groups. But humans added something special: memory, tools, language, planning, and stories. A fight could become a feud. A death could become a duty. A fear could become a rule passed to children. That is why the archaeological record feels so disturbing. It is not showing monsters, it is showing us. Small groups of people who loved, buried, fed, protected, and sometimes destroyed each other. The better question is not whether humans are naturally violent or naturally peaceful. The record says we're capable of both. We cooperate intensely, and that same cooperation can make violence organised. So when did humans start killing each other? Individual killing may reach back hundreds of thousands of years. Repeated group violence appears clearly by the Late Ice Age. Massacre becomes painfully visible with early farming villages. That timeline does not excuse anything. It does something harder. It reminds us that peace is not automatic. Peace is a technology too. It has to be built, remembered, protected, and taught. Before us were people who could make tools, bury the dead, love their children, and kill their neighbours. The danger was never only outside the campfire. Sometimes it was sitting beside it.